All right, looks like we are live. Facebook, YouTube, we are good to go. Live. Let's see who all jumps in. Group. All right, everybody, just jumping in. If you would like to play the All Lines Vocab Kahoot game with us, go to kahoot.it, kahoot.it, and type in the game pin 895715. For everyone just jumping in, if you'd like to play the All Lines Vocab Kahoot with us, my name's Steve. I'm one of the instructors here on the Insurance Exam Queen team. Go to Kahoot, kahoot.it, and type in the game pin 895715. And we'll get started here shortly after we get some people in the game. So if you'd like to play, you go to kahoot.it, kahoot.it, and play along with us. You type in the game pin 895715. Hey, there's Phoenix. Come on, somebody come play with Phoenix. Like I said, kahoot.it, type in the game pin 895715. There's Alma. We'll give it another minute and see who else joins in, and then we'll start playing the game. Anyone can join in late. Hey, Corey, you passed your test. That's awesome. We're so happy for you. This will be for PNC and life and health. It's general insurance, all lines. Great job, Cora. All right, there's Sheeta. Anyone else joining in? This works for PNC and life and health. All right, I'm going to hit go. If anyone else wants to join in late, all you have to do is type in the game pin that will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Take your test Saturday for PNC, Joe. Awesome. You got this, bud. All right, Fraternal Benefit Society. What's a Fraternal Benefit Society? Yes, both two of you got it right that answered. That's an organization that provides benefits, including the option to join an insurance group insurance policy to its members only. So, unless you're a member of that club, of that benefit society, you cannot get on their group insurance. You have to be a member. And remember, to be a group, you have to exist for more than reasons other than insurance. You have to have an annual meeting. You have to have at least 100 members. But with Fraternal Benefit Society, think like the American Legion, the Owls Club, the Saxons Club in your town, all the ethnic clubs, things like that. Cora was so scared to see your results back. And the lady said, I guess we won't be seeing you again. That's awesome. Right. Those are people you don't want to see again. People at the testing center until you go for your other line. When you're ready for life and health, then you'll go see him again. Alma, first place. Sheeta, Phoenix. Sassy, you got this. Join in the game and boost your confidence. And what's an admitted insurer? Admitted insurer. So an admitted insurer is an insurance company with a certificate of authority. Warranty. What's warranty? So warranty is an answer on an insurance application that you absolutely guarantee to be true. Not just you believe to be true. That's representation. If you believe in your heart that it's true. But if you absolutely 110%, this is absolutely true without a doubt, that is warranty. Hi, Tammy. Tammy, if you want to join in, the game pin is you go to kahoot.it and type in that game pin 895715. There you go. 3 of you that answered all got it right. Avoiding risk. Never driving a car is an example of avoiding risk. Avoiding risk is one of the 5 ways to handle risk, but it's also the least likely way to handle risk. Federal health insurance program for those 65 and or on 65 plus and or on disability. Great. 2 of you that answered got it right. That is Medicare. Medicare. Don't be afraid to answer. Like you don't I'm getting different numbers of people answering each time. You don't have to be afraid to answer. Whoa, look at that. Sheeta just jumped above Alma. Phoenix still holding 3rd place. Alma is right behind Sheeta. Sheeta has 3 answers in a row correct. Nice job, Sheeta. The greater sample of a similar risk, the more predictable loss is. What do we call that? That is the law of large numbers. Great job for the three of you that answered. Fantastic. If everybody's liking how this game is going and you're interested, now we actually offer games just like this and live classes on top of that with every tier of gold. So whether you do gold classic, gold plus state, gold plus, or platinum, every single one of those levels now include the live classes and live game nights just like this. So it's definitely something to look into. Our gold class is a 90% first-time pass rate. Promise to pay. Great. So promise to pay is the insurer's side of consideration. The insurer's side of consideration. The insured's side of consideration is premium. The insured brings premium. The insurer says, hey, we will pay any covered claim. We promise. Hey, Fritos, thanks for jumping in the game with us. License issued by a state's insurance department that permits an insurance company to do business in its state. Great. All four of you. Certificate of authority. Great job. Alma's back and on fire with 3 in a row. Nice job, Alma. Destruction, reduction, or disappearance of value. Hey, look at that, Zilla. You said you love games like this. They helped you pass on your first time you had the Gold Plus Live in PA. That's great. We're so happy to hear you passed and that games like this helped. That's awesome. I'm also in PA. I'm just outside of Pittsburgh. So loss, correct, is the destruction, reduction, or disappearance of value. Donta, if you want to play, instead of just typing in the answers into the chat, if you go to kahoot.it and then type in the game pin 895715, you can play along with everybody. Unit of measure that determines rate. So the unit of measure that determines rate is exposure. Exposure. Law of large numbers isn't a unit of measure. It's what they use to determine how risky a certain group of people are, a certain type of risk, which does eventually lead into the rate. But the actual definition that they say for exposure is the unit of measure that determines rate. It's how much risk you are exposed to for everything, not just one particular risk. Fritos has 3 in a row correct. Nice job. You are on fire. Authority that is not written but necessary to do the daily tasks of the job. So we will end up covering all of these throughout the quiz tonight. But implied authority is the authority that you have it's things you have to do as part of your daily job. So you just assume, the agent just assumes it's authority they have. Like, it's not in your contract that you can answer phones at your agency. It's not in your contract that you allow people to come to your office, or that you make phone calls, or that you run copies for people. That's just part of the job. And you just assume you have that. That's implied authority. Well, in management, we are here for you. I would get gold. Gold is the best way to focus on what's most heavily tested. Will really polish you out on the things that you were struggling with. Not only do we teach you the content and what is most tested, but we also focus on building up your mindset too. Manifesting that pass with positivity instead of hoping you'll pass, or hoping you're studying enough, or hoping you're studying the right thing. With Insurance Exam Queen Gold and above, even our lower packages, the bronze and silver. Bronze and silver are for people who missed the pass by just a couple points, or have been studying for a long time and just can't seem to get that pass. But if you're missing by more than 5 points, I would say definitely, absolutely go gold, and you will get there. We promise. It's a long road. It takes a lot. Let out the emotions from those failed attempts. Look at your most previous score sheet, and figure out the areas where you scored the least amount of points in. Focus on those areas, and you will get there. Deep breaths. Manifest the positivity. Try not to dwell on negative. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Yes. So these are not state-specific questions, Donta. These are just general insurance questions. So Alma up top. Sheeta taking second place back. Phoenix. Fritos with 4 in a row correct. Nice job. So this will be recorded and will be on YouTube, and will sit in Facebook for 30 days. Normally our live classes are live attendance only, but this will be recorded. Contract of adhesion is take it or leave it insurance. You can't change the bones of how the policy is written. You as the agent or the customer can't say, okay, well, with that particular policy, I want, you can't say with an HO2, I want open perils on the walls and roof and on contents. You can't do that for an HO2. It's written the way it is. You can't change things like that. That's a contract of adhesion. It's off-the-shelf policy. Do you want this policy or not? Hazard arising from carelessness. Those of you that have been in my class before or have watched a class on Melissa teaching hazards, you know the trick to this one already. So, moral hazard and morale hazard. So tricky, right? They're both spelled the same minus that E. Moral and morale. How do you tell the difference? I always get them confused, right? That's what everyone tells us. I just guess because I can't remember. I hear that one a lot too. Here's how you're never going to have to guess on this one again. Out of carelessness. The hazard out of carelessness. Look at morale. It has an E at the end. I want you to look at this E and think of teens. Why do I want you to think of teens? Because teens have a stereotype of being careless. So when you see this E, think of teens for that E. And why are you thinking of teens? They are careless. So morale is the hazard out of carelessness. Moral, without the E, you have poor morals if you are lying to people on purpose. So moral is the hazard out of intentional dishonesty. Morale is the hazard out of carelessness because of those careless teens. Smoking and drinking a lot because you're going to die someday anyways is a morale hazard. Driving your car, even though you know all four tires are bald, is a morale hazard. It's carelessness. Non-admitted insurer. If you want to join in our game, I see the numbers jumped up pretty good. You can go to kahoot.it and type in the game pin 895715. And that's how you can play along live. 895715 at the website kahoot.it. Non-admitted insurer is an insurance company without a certificate of authority. Hey, George joined us. I just didn't catch that. I apologize. You got pretty good scores, so you've been here a while. When the insurance companies insure other insurance companies' risks. When an insurance company insures other insurance companies' risks. Great. Everyone got it. Reinsurance. If you're liking the way this game plays out, we'd love for you to join us on future games. We do a P&C game and a life and health game every week. We also hold other live classes where myself, Peter, and Melissa all teach throughout the week. You can join those live classes and live games by getting at least the gold package. So our classic gold, the gold and state, gold plus, and platinum now all have live class access. You can sign up for one of those classes at insuranceexamqueen.com. We'd also love if you'd follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, ring the bell so you get all the notifications when we upload new videos. Click like on the videos. That'd be awesome too. We really appreciate it. All right. Let's see what the next question has for us. Acceptance. So acceptance is made by the insurer after an applicant submits an offer. Remember, offer from the insured, the applicant, and acceptance from the insurer makes up agreement. Offer and acceptance make up agreement. But acceptance is on the side of the insurer, the company. So with insurer and insured, think you go to the ER if you need medical help. So insurer, the insure-ER, you go to the insurer when you need insurance help. You go to the ER when you need medical help. It's somewhere you go. The insured is the one that is protected. So the customer is insured and they are protected because they are insured. Share, transfer, avoid, reduce, retain. If you're just joining us and want to play along, go to kahoot.it, Kahoot.it, and type in the game pin 895715. So share, transfer, avoid, reduce, retain are the 5 ways to handle risk. You are a star at handling risk. STARR. You are a star at handling risk. The 5 ways to handle risk. Chance of loss without the possibility of gain. I'm so sorry, I read that wrong. And that is why we read slowly. Chance of loss with a possibility of gain. Perfect example of why we read things slowly. I read that wrong, and I'm sorry if the person that did say pure risk chose pure risk because I first said without. I do apologize. But that's a perfect example of why we read slow. Chance of loss with a possibility of gain. That is speculative risk. Since speculative risk has a chance of gain, it is not insurable. The only type of risk that is insurable is pure risk because it means loss or nothing. So you either have a loss or nothing happens and everything stays the same. That is an example, like I just said, that's an example why we tell you in the real test, we want you to read the question, take a quick breath, read the question again, and then look at all 4 answers. That way you don't misread it like I first did and choose the wrong answer. Take your time, read the question twice, and look at all 4 answers. But on Kahoot, it's okay to read fast and choose the fun answers if you're trying to get the better score. Just so you're making note of the ones you're missing. George jumping up. Authority clearly given to the agent by the insurer in a written or oral agreement. Authority that is clearly given, that is written. You can do this. So we said that authority that you just assume you have because it's a part of the job is implied authority. Authority that you clearly have. It is clearly written in your contract with the company. You can do this. You are allowed to do this for us. This A, B, C, D. You are allowed to do all these things. You are not allowed to do these things. That is express authority. It is written. It is very definite. This is what we tell you you are allowed to do. Express authority. Alma, Sheeta, and Frito still holding our top 3. George and Phoenix fighting for one of those top 3 spots. Insurance company incorporated in the state that is doing business. So, great. So, domestic insurer, all 8 of you got it. It's an insurance company that's doing business inside the state that it's incorporated in. Great. That is domestic. Say that you're Fritos. Nice. Nice to meet you. You're from Minnesota, taking the exam on Friday the first time. Bought gold and state, been loving it. That's awesome. You hope you pass. Nope. You don't hope you pass. Say, I'm going to pass. I got this. I'm smart. None of this I hope stuff. Manifest that pass. Manifest the positivity. Look in that mirror and say, I'm smart. I'm awesome. I got this. I'm going to pass. Watch that pump to pass video the morning of your exam on Friday morning. Before you study, every single study session, I want you watch, all of you. I want you all watching the About to Study video. We have it built into each of our video packages. We have it on YouTube. Insurance Exam Queen About to Study. Watch that every single time. Rashida, don't second guess yourself. It's okay. Tonight, it's all for fun and learning. If you mess up, it's okay. We're not going to report that to the state. This is all for learning and all for fun. Take notes of the ones you're missing and use it as a good study tool tonight. A learning opportunity. Don't be afraid. Alma, Fritos. Ooh, Sheeta and Fritos switching places. Trust yourself, Sheeta. You've been in the top 3 the whole time. You're doing great. Offer. What is offer? So offer is made by the applicant when they're submitting an application for insurance. Offer is made by the applicant, the insured. They make the insured makes the offer. The insurer accepts the offer. HJ jumping up onto the board. Fritos with 5 in a row correct. Nice job, Fritos. The transfer of risk. Nice. Insurance. Insurance is the transfer of risk. Sometimes you will see this definition written out longer, and it will be insurance is the transfer of the risk of loss, because that's what the risk they're talking about is. It's the risk of loss. But insurance is the transfer of risk is the most basic way to say it. Sometimes they like to stretch it out, though. So just be ready to see either way. Insurance is the transfer of risk. Insurance is the transfer of the risk of loss. HJ jumping up on the leaderboard even higher. Misrepresentation. Misrepresentation is when an applicant gives false or misleading answers on an insurance application. Intentional misrepresentation is when you lie for financial gain. That's fraud. But you don't necessarily have to intentionally give an incorrect answer. But intentionally doing that is fraud. If you're just joining us and want to play along, go to Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT, and type in the game pin 895-715. There we go. All right. So adverse selection, higher risk individuals seek and maintain more insurance than those of lower risk. Correct. Paying deductibles is an example of Paying deductibles is an example of retaining risk. One of you got that, retaining risk. You retain some of the risk for yourself when you say, hey, Mr. Insurance Man, if I hit a deer or if a rock flies up and hit my windshield, I'll pay a $150 other than collision deductible for my auto before you pay for damages for my car. You're retaining some of the risk yourself. If your house catches on fire, you'll tell the insurance company, hey, I'll have $1,000 deductible on my house. So I will pay $1,000 if anything happens to the house before you do. You're retaining some of that risk yourself. So this, with North Carolina, if you want to know specifically for general insurance, what you'll see on your state's exam, Ashley, you're asking how general insurance applies to your state. You definitely want to look up your state's insurance exam content outline. You can find that by Googling whichever state you're in. So you're North Carolina, and then you'd want to search the line of authority. So like, let's say in North Carolina, P&C insurance exam content outline, or North Carolina life and health insurance exam content outline. It's going to be one of those first couple responses that come up in Google. Generally, it's put out by your state's testing provider, so like Pearson, Prometric, PSI, or it's also could be put out by your state's insurance department. So that's where you'll want to go. Pull up that document, and it literally breaks down by section what's included in each of the sections that they test on. So you'll see which of these in general insurance terms are covered. But for the most part, a lot of these general insurance terms are covered in most states in some way or another. And even if it's not specifically asked, understanding this kind of thing will really help you score points in other areas. So I have the game pin scrolling across the bottom. It is Kahoot.it. And the game pin is 895715. Absolutely, Tamara. Insurance company that pays dividends to its policyholders. That is a mutual company, correct. Mutual company pays dividends to its policyholders. Insurance companies do pay dividends. Whoever answered red. Insurance companies do pay dividends when they're profitable at the end of the year. Depending on the type of company, depends on who they pay those dividends to. Stock companies pay dividends to the shareholders. Mutual companies pay dividends to the policyholders. Here's the tricky thing with dividends, though. They're not guaranteed. They're not guaranteed. When the company does well, they will pay out. But if the company is not profitable at the end of the year, they don't have to pay dividends because they're not guaranteed. Material facts. So material facts are facts that could cause an insurance company to change their mind about accepting your risk. It is not facts that make a policy guaranteed to bind. Binding a policy means the policy gets put in force. It's bound. It's turned into a policy. An application is turned into a policy and accepted. That's what bound means. So guaranteed to bind is not a thing in this case. But material facts are facts that could change the insurer's decision on you. Like to say you're applying for life insurance and they say, "Do you have cancer?" And you say, "Yeah, I'm currently being treated for cancer." They're probably not going to accept you. That's a material fact. If you withhold that fact, that's material misrepresentation in the form of concealment, and that is fraud. Lying to the insurance company about that. I do see the number just jumped up. If you are watching and want to play along, you do not have to have a gold package or any of our class packages to play. You just go to kahoot.it and type in that game pin 895715. Tonight is a free vocab Kahoot for everybody. Just go to kahoot.it and type in that game pin, and you can play without having one of our courses. We do play courses like this throughout the week for P&C, games like this for our P&C and life and health courses. We also have live classes being taught all week long. And it is Melissa's teaching, Peter teaches, I teach myself. Yeah, we'd love to have you. Get the gold package or higher, and you can join any of those live classes. But tonight, all you have to do is go to kahoot.it, type in that game pin, 895715. What's a competent party? So competent party is an individual that can enter into a legal contract. Great job. All 8 of you that answered got it right. So LaRush, you find your class calendar when you go into your gold course or any of your courses. If you're on a desktop browser, once you're logged in on your dashboard, on the left-hand side of your course screen, you'll see a link that says live classes. Click on that link and it opens the calendar. If you're on a mobile device like your phone, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see 3 little lines stacked on top of each other. Click on that. That's actually called a hamburger. So click on the hamburger and it'll drop down a menu that will, on that menu will be live classes. Click on that and that will open up the class calendar for you. Directly after this class tonight, I'm actually teaching a study skills class where we talk about how to make flashcards, what the test is like, whether you're taking it remotely or in person, how to take good notes, how to improve your mindset, all those things. That's tonight's class. Opportunity for an uneven exchange within insurance. So that is aleatory. Aleatory is the opportunity for uneven exchange. Great job. Oh, Jeff Gordon jumping up onto the leaderboard. Alma, Fritos, and Sheeta still holding our top 3. When only one party makes a legally enforceable promise. Great. Everyone got that one. Unilateral. Great job. I see the number just jumped up again. If you're watching, just joined in, my name's Steve. I'm one of the instructors here on Melissa's team. We would love for you to join us in this live game. You don't have to have one of our courses to play. Go to kahoot.it, type in that game pin, 895715, that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We'd love for you to click like and subscribe on the video. Follow us on Facebook. Do all the things, ring the bell so you get all the notifications when we post new stuff and when we go live like this. Melissa's been doing live tutoring on YouTube and Facebook, which is really cool. Follow us all the places, do all the things so you can get all the updates. All the courses have live classes now. Go to insuranceexamqueen.com to look at those live classes. Factor that increases the chance of loss. That is a hazard. A hazard is what increases the chance of a loss occurring. Peril is the direct cause of loss. Exposure is how much risk you're exposed to. Estoppel. So remember, facts that may change an insurer's decision about you are material facts. That's not this. The other 8 of you got this one. Legal purpose that stops a party from going back on what they previously waived is estoppel. The silly way to remember this is to think of someone telling you they were going to give you a bunch of stuff or not take something from you, right? Either or. And then they decide to go back on their word, completely change up what they said. What you're going to do is you're going to probably make a funny face and make the sound, "Ee! Stop! That's not what you said." So the legal purpose that stops somebody from going back on what they previously said is estoppel. Now you're going to giggle on your test when you see estoppel, and you're going to see me do that and explain that, and you're going to laugh. But you won't forget what estoppel is. Jeff, Gordon, and HJ switching places. Jeff with 5 in a row correct. Alma, Fritos, and Sheeta still holding our top 3. Buying an insurance policy is an example of transferring risk. Transferring risk. You transfer the risk to the insurance company when you buy an insurance policy. Transferring risk is the most common way to handle risk. Insurance company incorporated outside of the U.S. and still doing business in the U.S. What kind of company is that? So, insurance company that's incorporated outside of the U.S. but doing business in the U.S. is an alien insurer. Great. Fritos was 7 in a row. Great job, Fritos. Concealment. Concealment is withholding answers of material information from the insurer. Insurance company doing business in a state that it is not incorporated in. So an insurance company doing business in a state that it is not incorporated in is a foreign insurer. Now that we've covered all three, let's quickly review the three. So if you are incorporated in the state you are doing business in, that is domestic. Incorporated in the state you're doing business in. So I live in Pennsylvania. If an insurance company is incorporated in PA, while they're doing business in PA, they are considered domestic. But if that same insurance company starts doing business in Ohio, while they're selling business in Ohio, they are considered a foreign insurer. They're incorporated here in PA, but doing business in Ohio, they are foreign. However, if they are incorporated outside of the U.S., in another country, and doing business here in the U.S., that is alien. You can be foreign and domestic at the same time. That same company we talked about could sell to people in Pennsylvania and sell to people in Ohio, so then they would be both a foreign and domestic company. So if the question's asking about more than one country and what type of company it is, more than one country, it's most likely alien. If it's talking about just one state, one country, one state, that's domestic. 2 states, asking about what kind of business it's in or business it is, it's most likely foreign. 1 state, domestic. 2 states or more, foreign. More than one country, alien. Law of agency. The law of agency says that an insurance agent has the authority to make that legally binding promise between the insurer and the insured that we talked about earlier, that unilateral legally bindingness. The agent has the authority to make that contract in place and make the insurer legally bound to the insured. Haven't had a change in spots in a while. Alma, Fritos, and Sheeta still in our top 3. HJ making a comeback with 3 in a row. Representation. So representation is answers on an application that you believe to be true. 3 of you said that you guarantee to be true. That is warranty. So warranty is when you absolutely wholeheartedly, 110% guarantee without a doubt that it's true. That's warranty. So representation is just from the bottom of your heart, you believe it to be true. To the best of your knowledge, it's true. Ageless. That's the first time I saw you come up. That's cool. 8 in a row. Nice job. Premium. The money the insured pays the insurer for the insurance policy is premium. Insurance company that pays dividends to the shareholders. So what do they do on the stock market? At the New York Stock Exchange, they sell shares. So think stocks and shares. The shareholders is a stock company. Mutual company pays to the policyholders. State Farm is a mutual company. When you buy a policy with State Farm, you actually become a part owner in State Farm. And when State Farm does well at the end of the year and they're profitable and they pay out dividends, you as a policyholder will receive dividends paid out by State Farm. That is what a mutual company is. Stock company goes to the shareholders, the guys in the top offices. Pulling money together with friends is an example of that is sharing risk. Like if all you and your friends put money in a bucket every month, and then when one of you needs it, you say, hey guys, hey everybody, I'm kind of hitting a rough time. I got this going on. I'm going to take from the bucket. And everyone says, yep, that's what it's there for. You take it. You're all sharing in the risk of loss. Oh, look at that. Frida and Alma switching places. Sheeta still holding third place. Jeff is right behind Sheeta. And HJ is right behind Jeff. It is a close game, everybody. Going to the gym every morning to stay healthy is an example of okay, that is reducing risk. You're trying to reduce the risk of becoming unhealthy, becoming sick. You want to stay in shape, so you go to the gym every morning. Reducing the risk of becoming ill. This is not avoiding. Avoiding would be never leaving your house or never going to the gym, because the gym is a germy place with a bunch of sweaty, nasty equipment that everyone's touched and sneezed on and sweated all over. And you just want to avoid that place and not get sick and touch all that gross, sweaty equipment. That's avoiding. Going to the gym to stay healthy and in shape to get your workout in is reducing risk. Jeff and Cheetah switching places. Dee Dee's back with 3 answers in a row. Great job, Dee Dee. If you are watching, I saw the number jump up over that last question. My name's Steve. I'm one of the instructors here on Melissa's team at the Insurance Exam Queen. We do games just like this every week for PNC and Life and Health. In addition to teaching other live classes, you get access to those games and live classes by having at least our gold course. If you have gold and state, gold plus, or platinum, every one of those levels of classes get the live classes in addition to all the recorded gold videos and benefits from all the from each one of those levels. The higher you go, the more benefits you get. So if you go just gold, you get the live classes and you get the recorded gold course. If you go gold in state, you get the gold course, the live classes, and a state study guide. Gold Plus gets all of that with a quiz and exam package. And then in addition to that, if you go platinum, you get all that other cool stuff, including the live classes, but you get added into a texting study group where you can text myself or Melissa at any time in that group, and we answer your question as soon as we get it. We try to answer right away. We get notifications that you ask a question, and we're right there with you, giving you text responses or recording an audio response for you and helping you with whatever you need. That's at the platinum level. Fraud. What is fraud? Oh, you said you signed up. Fraud is intentional act to deceive or mislead the insurer for financial gain. Correct. All 13 of you got that. 13. Woo! Our number's getting higher. You said you signed up for the class, took the test yesterday, missed by 1 point. This is the best training ever. We so happy to hear you say that and that you're still being positive. 1 point. I know it hurts to lose by 1 point. I've been in those shoes when I was taking my teaching exams right out of college. It hurts to lose by 1 point, but look at your score sheet. Go back and study the area where you scored the lowest in. Have faith. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself how awesome you are, how smart you are, that you got this. You're going to pass. And then that 1 point you're going to get and then some this next time. You got this. 1 point's nothing. You're going to laugh at that 1 point this next time around. And it's great. And heck, okay, look at that. You said English is your second language and you still only missed by 1 point. That's amazing. You are so cool, so awesome that you were able to only miss by 1 point. And English is your second language. You got this. Even 9 points, Mary. 9 points isn't bad. You got this. That's so easy. Just brush up on the areas you scored the lowest in. Go back and watch your gold videos on those sections. And you got this. Take handwritten notes. Make some flashcards. You got it. Restoring an insured back to their previous financial situation before the loss. That is indemnity. Nice job. 11 of you got that. Nice job. One of you said adverse selection. That is when someone of higher risk tends to seek out and buy more insurance than someone of lower risk. That is what adverse selection is. Insurance agent that sells insurance products to multiple companies to meet clients' needs. That is an independent insurer, independent insurance agent. A captive agent can only sell for one company's products. So Farmers, for example, or State Farm are both captive. Those agents can only sell for Farmers or only sell for State Farm. Progressive, if you're corporate, you are captive. But Progressive also is open to independent markets. Like when I first got into insurance, I worked for a broker that was independent insurance broker. We could sell Progressive, Nationwide, National General, Allstate, all kinds of companies through his office, and we put a client's information into the system, and it told us where the cheapest policy was for the best coverage at that time for that client, and we could put them in that company. Now, you would say, well, why wouldn't you want that option instead of versus only having one company to go with, and kind of you're stuck with that, and the price is the price. Well, if you're independent, you get less resources from those companies that you write with. If you're captive, they're going to help you with marketing. They're going to help you with this and that. There are a number of benefits to have with being captive, and you have to decide as an insurance agent, do you want to go the captive route and get that support from the home office, or do you want to go the independent route, kind of do things more on your own, but have access to a lot more companies? So that's independent/broker or captive. Captive is when you can only sell for one company. Insurance agent that can only sell insurance products for one company. I promise these are supposed to be shuffled. Kahoot doesn't shuffle the best sometimes. I am really happy everyone got that one right. Captive. Fritos, Alma, and Jeff holding our top three. Oh, boy. Consideration. Consideration is premium and promise to pay. Premium and promise to pay. Premium on the side of the insured and promise to pay on the side of the insurer. The customer, the insured, says, hey, we'll pay premium every month. The insurer, the company, says, hey, when you have a claim and it's a claim we say we'll cover, we promise to pay. So premium and promise to pay make up consideration. 10 of you said offer and acceptance. That's agreement. Offer and acceptance make up agreement. Alma got some points there. Fritos, Alma, and Jeff still in our top three. Tamara, 7 in a row correct. Nice job, Tamara. Authority the public assumes an agent has based on that agent's actions. So that is apparent authority. Apparent authority. So now that we've covered the three, I'll quickly review. So express authority is when it's written in the contract very clearly, very defined. You can do this. It is expressly written authority. Implied authority is the stuff you do just because it's a part of the day-to-day job and you assume you have the authority to do so. That's implied, like answering phones or running copies for customers. Apparent authority is the authority that the public assumes you have. Implied is authority you assume you have because it's a part of the daily job. Apparent authority is authority the public assumes you have based on the things you do. So when you pass out business cards at church or at bowling club, or your grandma passes out your business cards at knitting club, anyone who gets one of those business cards is going to assume that you have the authority to sell them insurance based on your actions of getting those business cards printed and passing them out. People assume that you have apparent authority. Insurable interest. So insurable interest was when a financial state exists in the life, health, or property of the insured. Insurable interest must exist at the time of application in both P&C and life and health. However, it only has to exist at the time of application for life and health. With P&C, it must exist both at the time of application and at the time of claim. With P&C, you can't make an insurance claim on a car that you sold 3 years ago. You just can't do that. But with life and health, as long as there was insurable interest when you took out like a life insurance policy on someone, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter that you and your business partner disbanded the business 3 years ago. As long as you keep paying for that policy, if one of you dies, the money's going to go to whoever the beneficiary was in that policy. So insurable interest must exist at the time of application for both life and health and P&C, but it also has to exist at the time of claim for P&C. Another question they love to ask about insurable interest is, it'll say all of the following have insurable interest except, and that's one of those tricky except questions. It'll be like you and your car, you and your spouse, you and your business partner, or you and your friend. You and your friend do not have insurable interest in each other. But you do in your spouse, you do in your car or your house, but you and your friend do not have, friends cannot have insurable interest. HJ jumping up in place. Hazard arising from intentional dishonesty. Who remembers the trick that I taught earlier? That is a moral hazard. Right. Moral hazard. For those of you that came in late, the trick to remember this and not get the two confused are morale has an E at the end. When I want you to see morale, even though they're both spelled the same minus this E, use that E to your advantage. So morale has this E. think of teens when you see that E, because morale is a hazard out of carelessness. And I want you to see this E and think of careless teens. So now when you see that E and think of teens, and teens are so careless, morale is the hazard out of carelessness. Moral, you have poor morals if you are intentionally lying to people. So moral is the hazard out of intentional dishonesty. Where is SH for this practice exam? I'm not sure what you're asking there, Adriana. If you want to join, you go to kahoot.it and type in that game pin, 895715. But I'm not sure what you're asking there. SEC schedule. What is the schedule for this practice exam? So we run this. I'll run this once a week, this game. Sometimes on Mondays, sometimes on Wednesdays, if that's what you're asking. Chance of loss with no chance at gain. There we go. There's that no. Chance at loss with no chance at gain. Pure risk. Right. Pure risk. Loss or nothing. Pre has 9 in a row correct. Nice job. Fritos, Amma, and Jeff in our top 3. We are on going into question 52 of 54. Let's see what happens. The direct cause of loss. Peril, nice job. All 13 of you got that one real fast. Great. Agreement. That's okay, Adriana. So offer plus acceptance makes up agreement. Great job. Promise to pay and premium make up consideration. And premium plus offer plus promise to pay are not a thing. That's just to confuse you. So these are the two answers here. Premium, promise to pay are consideration. Offer and acceptance are agreement. Ageless. 3 in a row correct. Nice job. All right, last question. The uncertainty of loss. Risk. Risk is the uncertainty of loss. Very good. 2 of you said the law of large numbers. That is when there's a large group of a similar risk. Like they want to know what the risk is of insuring private pilots. The more private pilots they have to look at, the greater it will be to determine the loss and the risk of insuring a private pilot. The law of large numbers. All right, let's see. 3rd place, Jeff. 2nd place, Alma. 1st place, drum roll, Fritos. Great job, everybody. That was a really close game the whole entire night. Really, really great job. So, Rashina, if you said you haven't studied in months, that's really good. I mean, you were on the leaderboard the entire time. So that is great. So, I want to thank everyone for joining tonight. Make sure you click like on the video, follow us on YouTube, or follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, drop a comment if you haven't yet. Tell us, what state you're studying and what exam you're studying for. Doing all that really helps us out. Ring that bell on YouTube so you get notified every time we go to post new videos, or Melissa and I go live. Absolutely. Fritos, so happy we're here tonight. Great job. Deborah, you're welcome. So remember, click like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Join at least our gold. So if you get gold, the gold and state, gold plus, or platinum, now you get live classes. So with every single one of those tiers. So you do get live classes, you get all the gold videos, and then depending on which tier you choose, you just get more and more benefits on top of those live classes and the recorded gold videos. So here is the link. Let me post this for you into the chat. And this is gold versus platinum. This will let you see the differences in those gold tiers, and then what platinum includes on top of those. And you can purchase the life and health course or the P&C course directly from that chart. So we are absolutely here for you. We'll be there for live classes. I myself am teaching classes. I teach a study skills class in about a half an hour from now. We have Melissa teaching classes again. We have Peter teaching classes. I do Kahoot games just like this. Come join in all the fun. Be a part of that 90% that passes for their first time. In gold, platinum also has a 90% second time pass rate. DD, we do live classes at different times all throughout the week. So when you do subscribe to gold, you'll get access to the live class calendar, and you can see what classes are going on and who's teaching said classes. So absolutely want to wish everyone all the loves, all the vibes, extra sprinkles on top for those that are testing this week. Congratulations, all the hearts to those of you that did jump in earlier and say you passed. Big hugs to those that have just taken their test and missed by a few points. You got this. Head up, manifest that pass. Watch the study video before you study. Watch the pump to pass video the morning of your exam. Don't cram the night of your exam, night before your exam. Just relax. Tell yourself how smart you are, how awesome you are. You got this. Love you all. See you in the next one.